10% happier. How I tamed the voice in my head, reduced stress without losing my edge, and found self-help that actually works. A true story by Harris Dan. Hey DeftU Insights viewers, and welcome back. We've all been there, right? Chasing that next big win, that promotion, that perfect relationship, convinced that this is what will finally bring lasting happiness. We push harder, sacrifice more, often ignoring the quiet alarm bells ringing in our own minds and bodies. But what if the relentless pursuit is blinding us to a deeper, more sustainable way to live and thrive? Today, we're diving deep into some profound wisdom, distilled from one person's transformative journey from the relentless, often brutal world of broadcast news to a more grounded, mindful existence. This isn't about ditching ambition or becoming a serene guru overnight. Far from it. It's about practical, actionable insights for anyone navigating the pressures of modern life, striving for success, and seeking a deeper sense of well-being. We're exploring 5 universal lessons that, when integrated into your life, can profoundly change how you experience your career, your relationships, and your inner world. These aren't quick fixes, but powerful principles that offer a path to greater clarity, resilience, and genuine happiness. Let's get started. Lesson 1: The silent scream of unchecked ambition. We live in a culture that often glorifies relentless ambition, portraying the hustle as the only path to success. But there's a dark side to this narrative: the silent scream of unchecked ambition and suppressed emotions. Many of us drive ourselves relentlessly, believing that if we just achieve enough, earn enough, or prove ourselves enough, we'll finally be content. This drive can propel us to incredible heights professionally, but it often comes at a steep personal cost. When we constantly push ourselves, ignoring the fundamental human need for rest, reflection, and emotional processing, we create an internal pressure cooker. We might tell ourselves we're bulletproof, capable of handling anything thrown our way, whether it's grueling work hours, toxic environments, or even personal traumas. But emotions, like water, will always find an outlet. If you consciously repress them, they don't disappear. They simply go underground, festering and manifesting in other ways. This could be anything from chronic fatigue and mysterious physical ailments to anxiety attacks, irritability, or a gnawing sense of emptiness despite outward success. For some, this leads to destructive coping mechanisms, whether it's excessive alcohol, recreational drugs, compulsive shopping, or endless scrolling on social media. These habits offer a temporary escape, or a synthetic high, a false sense of control or euphoria that masks a deeper depletion. The danger here is the belief that you can maintain this facade, that you can be a master of the universe while secretly running on fumes or self-medicating. But the truth is, your body and mind are intricately connected, and they will eventually demand attention, often in a spectacular, undeniable way. Imagine a high-performance engine that you push to its absolute limit day in and day out without regular maintenance, oil changes, or proper fuel. Eventually, that engine will seize up. It won't just slow down, it will likely break down in a dramatic and costly fashion. The same is true for us. A critical turning point often arrives not when we expect it, but when our internal systems simply can't take it anymore. A sudden panic attack in a public setting, a complete emotional breakdown, or a serious health scare can serve as a visceral, unavoidable wake-up call, forcing us to confront the mindlessness of our drive. This wake-up call, though terrifying, is often the first step towards self-awareness and healing. It forces us to ask, what is this relentless pursuit truly costing me, and is it worth it? The lesson here is clear. Acknowledge your limits, process your emotions, and prioritize internal well-being over external validation, or risk a much more painful reckoning down the line. Lesson 2: Your mind's relentless narrator: how to mute the noise. Have you ever noticed the constant chatter in your head? That ceaseless internal voice that comments on everything, judges everyone, especially yourself, and often fixates on past regrets or future anxieties? This isn't just a quirky aspect of being human, it's a powerful and often negative force that can prevent us from experiencing true presence and peace. Call it the ego, the inner critic, or simply your ghostly internal anchorman, this incessant narrator shapes our reality, often without our conscious consent. This voice loves to compare, to crave, and to replay old grievances, fueling drama and keeping us in a state of perpetual dissatisfaction. It avoids the now, always assuming that future events or achievements will bring greater satisfaction, perpetuating a cycle of continuous stress and elusive contentment. Think about it. How much time do you spend truly in the moment, fully engaged with what's happening, right here, right now? For many of us, that's a rare state, because our inner narrator is always pulling us away, either into the realm of should-haves and could-haves, or into the land of what-ifs and when-I-haves. The challenge isn't to silence this voice completely, that's often an unrealistic goal, but to change our relationship with it. Imagine you're at a bustling train station, and there are announcements constantly blaring over the loudspeakers. You don't have to listen to every single announcement, much less believe it as absolute truth. You can acknowledge the sound, but choose where to direct your attention. In the same way, we can learn to observe our thoughts as mere quantum bursts of psychic energy, not ultimate reality or commands we must obey. They are transient mental events, like clouds passing in the sky. A powerful first step is simply noticing when this internal narrator takes over. Are you stuck replaying an argument, worrying about a presentation next week, critiquing your appearance in the mirror? Just notice it. This act of observation creates a tiny bit of space between you and the thought. You realize, that's just a thought, rather than, I am that thought. This doesn't mean abandoning the drive for improvement or innovation, or ignoring planning for the future. It means operating from a place of conscious choice, rather than being blindly driven by the ego's endless demands. It's about not letting the inner critic drown out your capacity for peaceful action. By learning to observe and disidentify with this ceaseless mental chatter, we can reclaim our presence, reduce anxiety, and finally experience the world not just through the lens of our mental narratives, but as it truly is. Lesson 3. The undeniable truth of impermanence, finding peace in flux. One of the most profound and liberating insights you can embrace is the simple, undeniable truth of impermanence. Everything is constantly changing. Nothing lasts forever, not your current mood, not your financial situation, not even the most challenging or joyous moments. Our suffering often stems from our persistent clinging to what cannot last or our resistance to what is inevitably shifting. We desperately try to hold on to pleasant experiences, people, or possessions, and we fiercely resist unpleasant ones, mistakenly believing that stability means things staying exactly as they are. This tendency to cling and resist creates immense emotional turbulence. When something good happens, we immediately worry about losing it. When something bad happens, we become consumed by it, convinced it will never end. This is the essence of our human struggle, chasing fleeting pleasures and experiencing what's called hedonic adaptation, where the joy of the next hit quickly fades, leaving us perpetually searching for more. We build our lives on the assumption that if we just get that one thing or achieve that one status, we will finally be content. But true contentment isn't about acquiring or maintaining, it's about aligning with reality. Consider a majestic river. It is constantly flowing, never the same from one moment to the next. If you try to hold on to a handful of its water, it will inevitably slip through your fingers. If you resist its current, you'll be exhausted. But if you learn to navigate with its flow, to appreciate its ever-changing nature, you can journey with grace. Similarly, embracing the impermanence of life means understanding that emotions, thoughts, and external circumstances are all like that river, in constant motion. When you feel anxious, you recognize it will pass. When you feel joy, you savor it without desperately trying to freeze the moment. This understanding is not passive resignation, it is active liberation. It gives you a broader perspective on life's dramas and desires. Instead of being swept away by every wave, you learn to surf. It's a jujitsu move for the mind, using the energy of change rather than fighting it. Imagine you're building a sandcastle on the beach. You put effort into it, you enjoy the process, but you know the tide will eventually claim it. This awareness doesn't diminish the joy of building, it liberates you from crushing disappointment when the inevitable happens. By recognizing that all things are unsatisfying or unreliable, if we expect them to bring lasting, static happiness, we can cultivate a deeper, more resilient form of contentment that is not contingent on external factors, but rather on our relationship to the ever-changing reality of life itself. Lesson 4: The wise selfishness of compassion. For many of us, the idea of being kind or compassionate often feels like a selfless act, something we do for others, perhaps at our own expense. But what if compassion is one of the most profoundly self-interested things you can cultivate? This concept, often called wise selfishness, suggests that developing genuine concern for others immensely benefits you. It's not about being purely altruistic in a naive way, but recognizing that your own well-being is deeply intertwined with the well-being of those around you. Think about it. When you're consumed by self-centeredness, by comparison, or by a narrow focus on your own needs, your world often feels smaller, more competitive, and filled with more anxiety. Every interaction becomes a transaction, every challenge a personal slight. But when you extend your concern beyond yourself, even in small ways, something shifts internally. You become less reactive, more open, and, paradoxically, more secure. Scientific research robustly supports this. Studies have shown that acts of kindness and practices like compassion meditation can significantly lower stress hormones like cortisol, protecting against chronic diseases. The brain's pleasure centers light up when we give, a phenomenon known as the warm glow effect, proving that giving can feel just as good, if not better, than receiving. People who volunteer report improved health and happiness. Compassionate individuals tend to be healthier, happier, more popular, and even more successful professionally. It's not just anecdotal. Cultivating empathy literally changes your brain, making you more generous and less self-focused. Consider a ripple effect. If you throw a stone of kindness into a pond, the ripples spread outwards, but they also come back to the center. Imagine you have a difficult colleague. Instead of immediately judging or resenting them, you try to understand their perspective, perhaps realizing they're under immense pressure. This doesn't mean you let them walk all over you, but your internal response shifts from anger to empathy. That shift reduces your stress, improves your mental state, and potentially opens a pathway for a more productive interaction. This is not about letting others off the hook, but about liberating yourself from the corrosive effects of negativity. This isn't about being naive or abandoning your boundaries. It's about recognizing that negativity contracts your mind, while kindness expands it. It fosters a virtuous cycle where better decisions, improved relationships, and increased happiness naturally follow. So, the next time you have an opportunity to extend kindness, whether it's mentoring a colleague, listening patiently to a friend, or simply refraining from negative gossip, remember, you're not just doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. It's the ultimate strategic advantage in living a more fulfilling and successful life. Lesson 5: Mastering the art of strive and release, effort without attachment. In our drive for success, we often fall into the trap of tying our entire self-worth and happiness to specific outcomes. We strive intensely, pour our hearts into our work, and then become emotionally shattered if things don't go exactly as planned. This creates an exhausting cycle of elation and despair, leaving us vulnerable to every setback and external critique. The ultimate lesson in navigating this demanding world is to master the art of strive and release, to give your absolute best effort while simultaneously letting go of rigid attachment to the results. This isn't about indifference or apathy. Far from it. It's about combining fierce dedication and vigorous action with an internal sense of equanimity. It means putting in the long hours, honing your skills, advocating for yourself, and pushing towards your goals with everything you've got. But once the effort is expended, you release your white-knuckle grip on how things must turn out. You recognize that countless factors beyond your control influence outcomes, market conditions, other people's decisions, unforeseen circumstances, sheer luck. Think of an athlete training for a major competition. They dedicate years to rigorous practice, refine every technique, and push their bodies to the limit. They visualize success and meticulously plan their strategy. This is the strive part. But on the day of the competition, they can only control their performance in that moment. They cannot control the weather, the judges' scores, or how their competitors perform. If they tie their entire identity and happiness to winning the gold medal, a silver or even a strong personal best will feel like utter failure. But if they can release the outcome, focusing solely on executing their best performance, they can experience genuine satisfaction and learn from any result, win or lose. This strive and release mindset is a powerful antidote to burnout and emotional fragility. It allows you to re-engage with passion after setbacks, because failure doesn't shatter your core. It's simply a data point, a learning opportunity. It's about being simple, not a simpleton. You maintain your integrity and inner peace, but you also understand that in a competitive environment, you sometimes need to hide the zen and present an assertive, capable front to be heard and respected. The key question becomes, what matters most? Is it the outcome itself, or the integrity of your effort and your internal state? This framework helps you discern between productive vigilance and wasteful rumination. You still plan, you still strategize, but you don't allow the what-ifs to consume you. By dedicating yourself fully to the effort, yet releasing the need for a specific result, you cultivate maximum resilience, allowing you to rebound from setbacks with grace, seize new opportunities with clarity, and experience a deeper, more sustainable sense of peace and purpose regardless of life's fluctuating fortunes. Conclusion. So, there you have it. 5 powerful lessons for navigating the complexities of modern life with greater clarity and purpose. From recognizing the hidden costs of unchecked ambition and learning to quiet the incessant noise of our inner critic, to embracing the liberating truth of impermanence, understanding the wise selfishness of compassion, and mastering the art of striving fiercely while holding loosely to outcomes, these aren't just abstract ideas. They are practical principles that, when consistently applied, can serve as a profound software upgrade for your mind. This journey isn't about achieving a static state of perfect happiness. It's a continuous, lifelong exploration, a commitment to being more mindful, more kind, and less reactive in a world that often demands the opposite. It's about building an internal reservoir of resilience and self-generated happiness that is less dependent on the volatile external circumstances of your life. Imagine what your life could look like if you consistently chose to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, if you could embrace change with grace, and if your ambition was fueled by purpose rather than anxiety. The path begins with intention and consistent, small steps. Don't aim for overnight transformation. Instead, aim for that 10% happier, a realistic, tangible improvement in your daily experience. Start today by reflecting on which of these lessons resonates most deeply with you. How can you apply just one of these ideas in your life this week? Share your thoughts and insights in the comments below. We'd love to hear how these lessons land for you. And if you found value in this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to DeftU Insights for more thought-provoking content, and share this with someone who might benefit. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep exploring your inner world.